Three of my favourite things in the pasta world are bolognese, pappardelle, and chorizo. And I'm going to combine all three in this dish. I'm going to do a chorizo bolognese. I'm going to serve it with pappardelle. It is going to be delicious. Now, I haven't actually made this before. This is just a sort of a thought that could work. How can you combine those three things and have it not work? So what we're going to do is make our mince out of the chorizo and then make our bolognese like we normally would. So hang around, you'll see if this little thought bubble inside my head actually works. First thing I'm going to do is make my chorizo mince. So I've just got chorizo sausages and a food processor. Pop my chorizo sausages in. I've got 4 of them. Pop them in, and then I'm just going to blitz it up until I get sort of a rough mince. So now you could do this with a knife if you wanted to, but it would take you a long time. Done. So that is what we're after. That's the mince component of the bolognese. And from now I'm just making a really quick bolognese. Now, normally with a bolognese you need to cook it for a long time because you want to extract as much flavour as you can. We've got so much flavour in this chorizo that it doesn't matter that much. Put my mince in. Now, you could add a little bit of oil to help it along, but because I've chopped it up so fine and I've created lots of surface area and lots of ability for the oil in the chorizo to come out, I'm just going to let it sit. I don't think I'm going to need to add any oil, but I'll just see how it goes. As I said, first time I've made this, it makes sense in my head, but we'll see how we go. So I can already see there's oil starting to come out of that, so I'm not going to add any oil to it whatsoever. Now, our pappardelle takes 7 minutes to cook, and really 5 minutes to cook because I like mine al dente and still to be nice and tough and strong. So I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes, and then I'll add in my pappardelle, and then we've got 5 minutes to go. So it's about 10 minutes all up from start to finish this dish. So a nice quick pasta. Our chorizo has been cooking for 5 minutes. You can see all of that flavoursome oil that's come out of it. I've got some nice toasty bits on there as well. I'm going to add in some chili flakes. About a tablespoon of chili flakes. I love chili flakes. If you don't like them, just a little pinch. Some garlic. 1 clove of garlic. And some brown sugar, just to sweeten it up a little bit. My pasta can go in now, which means I've got 5 minutes left to plate this up. Pappardelle. 1 for me, 2 for me, 1 for John the cameraman, and that'll do. Oh no, better put in 1 more for John the cameraman. So we'll cook that out so you can see all of that flavour that's come out of that chorizo. Yum, 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 yum. So now, 5 minutes for our pasta. I reckon I'm going to cook this for 1 more minute, so you might as well hang around. And then I'm going to add some rosemary. And just pull some rosemary leaves off and pop them in. That's what we're going to do. So we can pop our tomatoes in. And then I want to simmer that tomato sauce down. I'm going to cook that for the last 3 minutes, and then our pappardelle will go straight from our pot into our pan, and we're going to finish it off with some feta. A little pinch of salt. Not a lot because the chorizo is quite salty. Stir that in. And now I'm going to take my pappardelle straight from the pot. I don't mind if I take some of that pasta water with it because it's going to help thicken up our sauce and give it some body. I'll lift this over straight in. You can see there's big fat noodles of pappardelle. That in. Okay, so you can do 2 things here. You can take your feta now and put it through, and it will kind of melt and become part of the sauce. And as I say that, I realise that that's probably what I want to do. The other option is you can crumble it over the top. I might do both. So grab my feta, so some of it I want to break, and the rest I'm going to hold off and just sprinkle over the top like a seasoning. Turn that pan off. You just serve it like that, actually, to tell you the truth. You don't really need to make it any prettier. That looks pretty good to me. But I've got a plate, so I might as well use it. So grab a big amount of our pappardelle, twist it around, and then probably the main reason why you'd be happy to serve it like that is because it can be quite messy trying to serve pappardelle because it sort of goes, see what I mean? It's exactly what I'm talking about. Look at the mess I made. Man. Well, I always say cook like you don't have to clean, and I'm definitely doing that today. Get some of this mince, put on top, because that's where all the flavour is. And then, as I said, I'm gonna crumble some of the feta over the top as well. Crumble that over, and then I've got some parsley. And a good idea actually with this one would be a squeeze of lemon, just to freshen it up, because the chorizo is really rich. There we go, my chorizo bolognese, combining three of my favourite things in the world. Bolognese, which I grew up on, pappardelle, which I fell in love with in Italy, and chorizo, which I think is the new bacon, and I put it in everything. Enjoy.